Start.
All right.
Take it away.
All right.
I'm just kidding. We got an intro. We're professional here. Miami Police Podcast, the fastest growing podcast in Miami's police department in this room. Hey, look, they clapped. All right.
Good job.
There you go. All right, clapping around the room. Special episode today. We're with the used to be called Auto Theft Unit. However, I got a little word on the street is we changed the name, but we're going to get into that. It's now called
Auto crimes.
Auto crimes, and we're going to get into who just said auto crimes in a second, too. We're going to go around the room, introduce each other, starting in the back.
My name is Anissa. I'm the social broadcasting specialist. I've been working here since November, so I'm fairly new.
Fairly new. Welcome, Anissa.
What's up, guys? Officer Horta. You know me as Ralph. I've been with the department for about 6 years and 3 years in the social media unit.
And usually on the couch, we have our guest on the couch, which is Orlando, but we said we're going to rotate the guest on the couch. And this week, we have a special guest on the couch who is also actually the commanding officer, commanding officer of the Auto Crimes Unit. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Burmaster.
Yeah. Great introduction. The commanding officer. But also sitting next to you, I don't want to glaze over because we do have another guest. He doesn't have a microphone. We're in the works of building up the budget to get another microphone for him. But you want to introduce yourself?
Detective Toka.
Killed it on that. It was so worth it. It was so worth it. Detective Toka in the house.
This is the face of auto crimes right there.
The face of auto crimes.
Yes.
Nice.
We call him the mayor. We call him the mayor.
The mayor of auto crimes right there. And now we have the arms of auto crimes. Sergeant Castrillo. Introduce yourself, sir.
Sergeant Castrillo, City of Miami Police Department, Auto Crimes Unit.
Yeah. And we know each other for a while. I'm Nick, by the way.
Hi, Nick.
About the same tenure, right? We came out on the same time. I was saying you lateraled over, right?
Correct.
And when you were waiting to go to FTO, I was getting ready to go to the academy.
Yes, sir.
So, fun
Been a
facts.
A few years.
Few years.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I brought both of you up.
That's right. So and then we have history too because when you were a sergeant, you were my sergeant right when I got out of FTO. So then we
We're
ran into
newbie.
each other in the Alapata Midnight area.
Yes.
Oh, same as,
Fun
us, same as
times.
me.
You
Fun
were
times.
Alapata Midnights?
Yes,
Her,
you
she was
are.
my first sergeant.
Oh, and she was my first sergeant.
All right.
All right. There we go.
Look at that.
There you go. Twofer. Now we're on a podcast together. This is crazy.
Now I feel left out. She wasn't my first sergeant.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's crazy. So
One day.
those Alapata days. Remember the Boulevard Cafes?
How could I forget?
Boulevard Is it still around?
No.
No,
It's not.
since been gone.
Yeah.
But those were the good days. Boulevard Cafe, always around a certain time when they let out.
Very active.
You would advise us, hey, why don't you guys go over there and stage, just in case something pops off. What usually would pop off in that area?
Every night.
Every night in Alapata, midnights. We must have just missed each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet later on in the career, we moved over to we reunited, and it felt so good, in Little Havana PST, the problem-solving team.
Sure did. 2010.
2010.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my Spanish for the episode.
This guy knows Spanish.
I think that's about it, how we know each other, right?
Yeah.
There's other things, right? Did you ever come to that comedy show that we did? You did, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you did. Was it good?
Very good.
Better than this podcast?
Just as,
We'll see.
we're up there.
Neck and neck. So with that being said, this is what we like to do. We like to break the ice. We have a special segment on the podcast. It's called Anissa's Icebreaker Questions. Yes, I made that up. So Anissa comes up with some questions, a little off topic than what we're going to be talking about in the podcast, but just to break the ice a little bit and usually get to know somebody, a little bit about their history or just a question. So Anissa, you want to take it?
Yes. What was the first record, tape, or CD you ever owned or bought?
Ooh.
Vanilla Ice. It was actually a vinyl record.
Really?
Yeah.
That
Ice Baby Times.
Really? I had the cassette. The single Vanilla Ice. My sister had it. But you had a record?
Yeah.
You used to listen to records?
Yeah. I think that was the only record that I had.
No, I had records. I just didn't know because we're around the same time that you actually listened to records. You listen to records too?
I have a few years on you guys.
Oh, okay. But what record was it?
I don't think I can say that on the.
The record?
It was
Artist.
George Michael.
Oh, and I got to have faith.
Not that one, but
Oh.
we'll go with that one.
What was it? What was his first one?
I want your
Body?
something like that.
All right.
All right. We're going to pull that out. Let's play it in the headphones to see what LT was listening to on our
I got it right here. Hold on, I got it right here.
Yeah, did you? It's actually on his playlist.
I was just listening to it.
Yeah. Did you buy it yourself or somebody it was given?
No, I'm sure somebody gave it.
Oh, nice. Anissa, what was your first?
So mine was a single because it was
Yeah,
CD.
the little record.
They would sell singles.
No, the 45. You had a 45. There's a little one.
Little one.
Yeah, you're talking about record. You're talking about CDs.
CDs.
Yeah, you're talking about.
That had like the singles on it.
Yeah, like
Here's the question: was it a legal CD or was it a copyright? You burned the CD.
I went to the store and bought it for $1.
Oh, okay.
They used to sell singles for like $1, $1.99.
Right.
It was Blackstreet Boys.
Blackstreet Boys?
Yeah, no diggity.
No doubt.
Yeah.
That's is it? No, it's Blackstreet,
It's
Blackstreet.
Blackstreet.
but not boys.
Oh, did I say boys?
Yes.
That's I want.
She made a new band.
The new band.
What
You never knew they
merged the two.
collabed on
Maybe
that one
that's
song.
you guys.
They did that
Maybe
one
that could be
song.
you guys.
There you go.
I did love
Blackstreet.
Backstreet Boys though.
Yeah. No diggity, no doubt. Hmm.
There you go.
That was the song. If you didn't know. Now we're gonna get copywritten
Yeah,
strike
for
because
sure.
I sound exactly like that.
That's two podcasts in a row that you're singing.
Copyright
and we're gonna
strikes.
have to take it off.
Yeah, they're like, when are we going to talk about auto theft? We will in a second after we find out what was Ralph's first.
My first CD was actually a 112 CD.
Ooh, 112 peaches and cream.
This is a true story. It got taken by my parents
Ooh.
and cracked once they heard the CD.
Oh, really?
Once they heard the lyrics on the CD.
What was your favorite
It was
song?
me and my sister, actually. I have a sister. She's a year older than me. So we must have been, I don't know, 12, 13, 14. I don't remember exactly. But we bought the 112 CD on Main Street in Miami Lakes. Whoever's familiar, there was a record store.
Mm-hmm.
And we bought it one day. They didn't even know we bought it. My mom found it, started listening to it, and she broke the CD.
Yeah, so,
But that was the first record that I bought.
the first cassette that I ever had, Bone Thugs and Harmony, East 1999. Oh, yeah, I don't know.
They
I
still go hard.
They go good.
Yeah,
you
still
can
go
still
hard.
listen to that right
Bone
now.
Thugs,
Yeah.
That's timeless. Bone Thugs, Biggie.
Yeah. What you gonna do?
Oh, I don't know. I don't
Nobody knows. You're just supposed to mumble. So that was my first actually cassette. It was two-sided cassette.
Okay.
And I did have Vanilla Ice cassette. And I used to listen to a cassette player on the bus. And then the CD players came and then it would skip. Whenever the bus would go over, it would skip. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
All right. And then we got to burn CDs. Remember that? Those are the days.
LimeWire.
LimeWire, Napster.
There was a certain time there. If you had a burner, you were like,
Yeah.
you pay him $10.
Yeah.
So you give him a list of songs.
I remember that, and it's past the statute of limitations, guys. So that's why LT was real quiet. She's like, I don't know what they're talking about.
LimeWire.
What was your
Yeah.
favorite CD?
Favorite CD. I liked, believe it or not. So when we used to eat dinner, my dad used to put on his music. So it was like a lot of Motown stuff. I liked the Jackson 5. You know, I can tell you the whole.
Is that where you picked up your dance moves?
I did. That's where I picked up my dance moves from Michael Jackson, and who else?
That's where it all started.
Yeah, Michael Jackson. Believe it or not, Breaking, the movie Breaking with Turbo and Ozone.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
God.
That's where I used to imitate those guys.
Cool.
You like that?
Never seen it.
No idea what you're talking
You don't know
about.
Breaking the movie, Electric Boogaloo 2, when
He's looking at you. He's like,
dancing on the
very
ceiling.
cool.
He's like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
go along with it. Okay,
He's like, LimeWire, I'm done. So, but if you guys are looking at Sergeant Castrillo and you're like, man, I can't put my finger on it. This guy looks familiar. This guy looks familiar. No, he's not. He doesn't play AC Slater in Saved by the Bell. You get that a lot or no?
Nah,
No, never.
No.
Okay.
first time.
Yeah. But back when you're in PST, you used to have the little curly hair, the long curly hair, just like
Nah,
him.
that wasn't me.
You were trying
That
to
wasn't
imitate.
me.
No, okay, I just make sure. But you were in a movie, a big movie. that was filmed around here. Do you remember that movie?
Yes, sir.
What was the movie called?
Bad Boys 2.
Oh, so cliche.
Yeah.
So who are you, Mike Lowry, or are you?
I wish. I was a 2-second boat cop.
You were a boat cop.
Yeah. So
What did you do?
We call them
Stood on a
Marine
boat.
Patrol.
Yeah, you were, but
Marine Patrol.
what did they call you on set? Hey, boat cop, boat cop, boat
That's,
cop.
that's exactly what they would say.
Yeah,
Boat cop.
boat
Get
cop.
ready.
On, yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Are
And
you in
what-
the credits?
Yeah.
You got an
Right.
You're in the
IMPD?
credits?
To this day, I still get those royalty checks for like $50 here and there.
Bro, get out of here.
That's right, because I had a speaking role. So
Oh, and you got
man.
royalties?
yeah,
What?
Good Lord.
tiny ones.
Nice.
but it's something.
$50. That's more
Well,
than I ever.
They paid me $3,000 to be on the movie for the 2 seconds.
What?
Oh.
I didn't know this. Oh, you were in Bad Boys. Did you get to meet Martin Lawrence and Will Smith?
Absolutely not. I wish I did.
So what?
They had me on a boat for about 12 hours for the whole day shooting, and that was it. They had a nice stage area where they gave us food.
That's what I say. They usually have food on the set.
Yeah, that
Did
was-
you get to go to the rap party?
No parties.
No-
What
Unfortunately.
party?
Nah.
It's called a rap party. So whenever you're on a set, at the end when they're done filming,
Oh, like wrap up.
they throw a rap party.
Got it.
Where if for Bad Boys, it should have been huge. Like they go all out for these. They bring in DJs and entertainment. So if you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say Michael Bay was the director. Did you meet him?
Ooh.
I did not meet anyone famous. I was isolated on a boat with one of the stunt actors, and that was it.
Man, we met Michael Bay.
He
And I
was here-
wasn't even
he
in
was here
Bad
not too
Boys.
long ago.
Yeah, we met Michael Bay. We did
A
Make a
surprise.
Wish.
Yeah, the
Make a Wish, and and we made the news because we shut down the bridge that they shot the scene. So the kid that was in Make a Wish, he loved the Bad Boys movies. So I think the beach got in contact. Michael Bay lives in the beach. I don't know if we should put that out. I'm not giving his address, but he lives over there in Miami Beach. And we linked up with Miami Beach PD. We did this great thing where we took the kid to all the sites that Bad Boys was filmed in. There's a big chase scene on the bridge, and we reenacted that. Not really did a chase scene, but we brought him on the bridge. Helicopter flew over. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
He loved it. So Anissa, what's the next?
What was your first job?
Ooh.
I was studying civil engineering,
Oh.
so I worked for a construction company in the office as an assistant to the project manager. That would be the engineer.
That's your first job, bro?
Damn.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was the CEO of. Like, good lord, that's big
Good
time.
job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anissa, what was your first job?
I was a salesperson at Guess.
Oh,
At
why
the
do you
mall?
say it like it's a question? Because is that as guess?
Guess.
Yeah, I was a
Like-
salesperson at
Guess.
Guess.
At Guess.
Which store?
Guess where?
Go ahead. What about Ralph?
My first job was at a gym. I was a front desk. I would work front desk on the floor, picking up weights, and
You holding out on me, bro? I told you I need stretches. You were a personal trainer?
I was a basketball coach
Oh, really?
for like 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds.
Really? Oh, I didn't know
18
that.
years old. That was my first job.
Nice.
Yeah.
LT?
I was a special needs counselor at a Miami-Dade park.
That's another good one. They put you right into that position, no training or no nothing?
I'm a psychology major, and my specialty was working with special needs kids.
Wow, look at that. Man, I don't even want to say what I was.
What was your first job, Nick?
I helped. Let me try to dress this up. I was a specialist when it came to people searching for Christmas trees in a Christmas tree patch, and I would cut the bark off the tree. And
We're a Christmas tree
wrap it-
advisor.
A Christmas tree advisor.
There you go.
At 14 years old, and I used to ride my bike down to the Christmas tree patch, work for tips only, and that was my first job. A lot of sap on my fingers afterwards. That was my first job, and then I never had I never had like a normal retail job. I was always a DJ, work with kids. That was me.
Now to this day, do you actually have real trees at home for Christmas, or do you have the artificial tree?
Hey, I'm doing the questions
Hey.
here. No, but that's a good one.
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Because that could take on a whole conversation there.
First of all, if you want a good tree, you can just link up with me. I'm good at finding. You know how they come all tied up?
Yeah.
I can tell you that's got a hole right there.
I'm bringing you with me this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
I'm
real.
good. And then when I get it, I can still do. You pick it up and slam it on the ground so the branches go down. I got it all. I got the science behind Christmas trees. However, to answer your question, I got a fake tree. I got a fake tree. After picking up the bristles,
Blasphemy.
After all those years of sticky, sappy fingers,
yeah, but
you're like, I'm gonna get a fake one.
I got 2 trees.
Your kids don't want a real tree.
I get the incense and I put them in between the branches.
It's like the real thing.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we're going to talk about some auto crimes.
Thank you.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You're lucky you said it right that time.
That's called
I know, I was about to
icebreakers.
get-
Yeah, I know. Auto crime. Sorry, it's been 15 years of programming. Now it's auto crime.
Correct.
When we come back from the break, we're going to get into some auto crimes.
All right.
All right.
Hey, are you enjoying the video portion of our podcast? You can also find us on all audio streaming platforms like iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We'll have those available for you down below. Now back to the show.
Yes, sir.
All right, auto crimes. Roll out. You guys know where that's from?
Transformers.
There you go. See, you know what? Maybe we should switch. Maybe we switch. So yes, we're going to talk about some of the typical methods, MOs that these offenders are using. We're going to talk about some preventative tips, and we're going to talk about some catalytic converter stuff. That's big nowadays. I have to pronunciate all those words. Otherwise,
Sound it out. Sound it out.
Catalytic converter.
Yeah.
So I have to pronunciate that. So we're going to talk about that stuff, and it's pretty interesting when you get into it, especially the new methods that they have. Maybe if you're listening out there, you could get some tips and try to prevent this stuff from happening to you. With that being said, have you ever had your car stolen before? Anybody?
Thankfully, I have not.
No.
No.
I haven't.
No.
My dad.
Your dad?
Yeah. When I was younger, they stole his car when he was at work, and then they found it, and then they kind of just parked the car in front of my house, and it just stayed in front of the house with no tires because they stole the tires.
Oh, your dad was rolling on rims. He had 20s?
I don't know. I was
He had them deep dish
I was like
20s.
5, I don't remember.
The spinners. That's what it says,
I think it
spinners.
was a Tercel.
A Toyota Tercel, and they
Maybe
stole his
deep dish
rims.
18s.
Yeah, no, there wasn't like 10s. They were like 10s.
Yeah.
Did you ever have your car stolen
No.
before? I have never. I haven't had it broken into a couple times. Once in the academy where I had a hatchback. So you guys know the rule, right? If your equipment when we have our equipment, we have to store it where
Secure.
it's secure. Otherwise, we kind of own the
You're liable.
and we have to pay it back because it was, we should have been a little more responsible. However, I had a hatchback. I had an Acura RSX, not the R or the S or whatever. I had the regular one, but I dropped it a little bit to make it look like the racing one. It was 3.5 cylinders, but it looked fast.
On 17s?
Spinners.
And it had big rims too, believe it or not. But I had a hatchback and I had my radio because you get assigned your duty belt. I had my radio in my academy bag. Got home on a Friday. I left it in the trunk. Or so I thought it was the trunk. Apparently, hatchbacks don't have trunks.
Correct.
So I had to pay off the police radio for about, I don't know, like 8,
Half
9
your
years. Yeah, 8, 9 years of my career, $25 out of the check.
See, that's one of our preventative measures. Is
You
don't
financed it.
leave your belongings where people can see them.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to talk about. And that's why we got you on here.
If you would have had the podcast 20 years ago, it would never happen. Right?
Exactly. I was like, wow, that makes sense. And, yes. So, and then my wife had her car stolen. And we can maybe talk about this. She was going to sell her car. And she went to, the guy gave her a bad cashier's check. She's like, and can you believe the cashier's check was bad? I'm like, yeah, if the guy stole your car, I would assume that it was a bad cashier's check. But anyways, gave the cashier's check. He was in the car, and he just peeled off on it. And then it was bad cashier's check, none of the paperwork, so it was a stolen car, whatever. A couple days later, someone knocks on her door trying to get her to sign the title of the car. He sold the car to somebody else. So she got the car back. So the person that got the car sold to them had to forfeit the car or give the car back to her because she got it stolen.
And he lost his money.
And he lost his money. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually happens very frequently.
Okay, so my bad. We gotta get into the tips here. So tell me about the unit, LT, and a little bit about what you guys do in the auto crimes unit.
Okay, so the unit right now is comprised of 1 sergeant.
Mm-hmm. There he is.
Okay.
Boom.
And 8 detectives. They're we try to divvy up the work as much as possible so it's fair. We have one particular guy that handles most of our motorcycles.
Okay, so
Issues?
we're going to talk about that. Somebody had a question about that later on.
And so we handle auto thefts.
Right.
We handle break-ins to motor vehicles.
What about like when they steal the catalytic converters?
That's a whole nother animal.
but you
yes,
handle that, yeah.
we handle that.
What about tags? Is that fun?
Yep.
Stolen tags.
If it's
Part of the car?
anything part of motor,
It
it's
falls under-
ours.
Okay.
Your dad's rims, boom.
would have been ours.
Them 20s.
In 1990.
In 1990, the Toyota Tercel, those were good cars. But
Oh, we had issues a couple years back with the Honda Civics being left on blocks.
so it fluctuates, right?
Yeah.
So there's like a trend, right?
Yeah, it comes in trends. It comes in waves. We've had, over the years, the rims, the airbags. Now the hot thing is catalytics.
There's always going to be somebody trying to steal something, and there's going to be a way that they get defeated, and then they'll figure out how to defeat that, and then they'll just keep rolling. So what I'm getting at is back in the days, in Alapata days, when we used to do the midnight patrols, you could take a pair of scissors and lube them up and shove them into the ignition and turn. Just not just like one blade, turn it, and then it will start some of these older cars. So back in the day, it was just like scissors. I'm sure before that was even something a little more like you just gotta wind it up and then you take it out. But I'm saying it evolves. So there's now we're in 2022, and we're gonna get into this, but like key fobs and the electronic stuff, where it's a little bit less physical work. It's more of like a touch of a button.
Technology.
Yeah, it's technology. And like the Crown Vics, remember the Crown Vics? And you had a Slim Jim. Always a guy on the crew that had a Slim Jim, right?
Because we lock our keys in our car.
Yeah, and that guy would always be the one locking the keys in the car and asking for another unit to come by with a Slim Jim. So if you don't know what a Slim Jim is, it's that meaty stick. No, I'm just kidding. It's it's the metal. Anissa, what do you with the Macho Man coming? Snap into a Slim Jim. All right, so the Slim Jim is a slender metal stick, right? You guys
Very shiny silver.
very shiny silver, and you see it. They used to slide it into the door. You can hook the locking mechanism.
Yeah, unlock the door.
Boom, pull it up, and it would come up. Then they invented the locks that go sideways. Those were a little more trickier. But the Crown Vics, I was clutch at opening Crown Vics. I was gone in 30 seconds opening those Crown Vics. I had a lot of practice.
So what you're saying is you locked your keys in your car quite frequently.
No, because I'm the guy with the Slim Jim, so I can't if I lock my keys, I'm stuck.
He was a little bit of a goofball as a rookie.
No.
And
You
he's
don't say.
developed that skill
Yeah.
over time.
I was like, I need to get one of those Slim Jims. But anyways, so technology has evolved,
Yeah.
right? So we're getting into this new school or new technology on how
Evolving.
to steal a car. Cars are coming out now with no keys, right? And they're getting stolen.
Yes, sir.
What is that? So what's the most typical type of auto crime that you guys are getting? And just to put it out there, and in any big city where there's a lot of cars, there's going to be crime.
Yeah.
So because it is a crime
Of opportunity.
of opportunity. Okay, so go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So we have basically the most common type, which is when people leave their keys inside of the vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Bad guys come, check door handles. All they got to do is go inside of the car, press the button, car turns on, they're gone in less than 10 seconds.
In less than 10 seconds. And you know what that comes from? Is because you don't have to put it in the ignition.
So you
Yep.
just leave it in the cup holder.
Guilty.
You leave it in the seat.
I'm guilty of that. Where I just turn not leaving it overnight, but just putting the key in the cup holder, and then forgetting, and then going, as soon as I take 2 steps away, it's usually 2 or 3 steps where I remember and turn around and go right into the car and grab the key fob. Not 2 or 3 days.
Kind of the purpose of the keyless entry is so you don't hold on to the keys.
Yeah.
So
But that makes it harder.
put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Ladies, put it in your bag, your purse, your pocket, whatever. And then you don't accidentally leave it behind because it's on your person.
So that's one of the most common ones, which is super preventable. It's not like somebody with a Slim Jim.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now we have the ones that are pretty much unpreventable.
Right.
You just become a victim.
Right.
Is these new age bad guys, suspects, what they do is they have computers, mobile devices that if you have a certain brand of car, they'll check your door handles. If the car's open, They'll sit inside. Their electronic device sends a signal to the keyless entry, and the car automatically turns on, and boom, they're gone.
Man, and these are more high end or just
The most typical ones right now would be Dodge. Dodge, Chryslers.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are being targeted.
The SRTs, Hellcats.
Hellcats.
And when they get these cars, what do they do with them? Chop shops? Is that first of all, is that not a movie term, right? They have chop
It's
shops.
real.
Yes,
it's
that's
a real
real.
thing.
So what is a chop shop?
So there's different things that the bad guys do with them.
Yeah.
First is a chop shop.
Right.
They chop them up. They take out the motor. They take out the transmission. They'll go ahead and put it on a crash car, rebuild that car. Now they have free parts. They'll be able to fix that car and sell it for cheap with stolen parts.
All right.
So that's one way that they're doing it.
Right.
That's one thing that they're doing with them.
Do they send them overseas at all? Do they get them, put them in like cargo? And I know
It's very difficult to send them overseas because the port checks. You have to have paperwork documentation anytime that you are sending a car overseas.
yeah.
And chances are that your vehicle is going to be checked.
Oh, see.
So it's very difficult to ship them out.
So that's something that you hear a lot. It's like, oh, they probably shipped it overseas. So that's
So
something.
that happens more with our catalytics because there's no identifying markings on them.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to.
So the catalytic converters.
Can be
so
shipped.
pieces of the car.
There's a
can
lot
be
of
shipped.
identifying features on
Yeah.
certain parts of
Yeah.
the car, but the reason the catalytics is such a prominent crime right now is because there's no there's no way to identify what car they belong to, who they belong to, or anything like that.
So speaking about shipping out of the country,
Right.
motorcycles, those can be shipped out of the country. Bad guys are just pulling them apart. Since it's a motorcycle,
Yeah.
motor's small, wheels are small.
Yeah.
They put them in separate boxes, ship them out as another category.
Motorcycles. Do they? Is it just like they come scoop them up, put them in the bed of a truck, or are they actually starting up and going? I made the sound. My soundboard guy doesn't have a motorcycle yet.
No,
we're
not
working
yet.
on it.
So
Little by little.
Our European motorcycles, they're more high end.
Yeah.
They can't be jump start. So those are being put in the back of vans, back of pickup trucks. So if you do reside inside of a building, an apartment building, condo building, and you do see a vehicle suspicious driving up and down, looking at motorcycles, call the police because most likely they're going to end up taking a motorcycle.
There you go.
Now, the Japanese motorcycles, those they could jump start them.
Okay.
They play with the ignition, turn them on, and they ride off with it.
So those are gonna be people that are like lingering around the gates of buildings and stuff like that. People walking around with their helmets already on. No motorcycle rider wears their helmet when
Yeah.
they're not on the bike.
Yeah.
But that's obviously to conceal their faces. So,
That's something that's good. A good tip. If you live in these condo buildings, they're not going to have access to the parking garage, right? So
Right.
if you see somebody following you in, isn't that a telltale sign that hey,
Red flag.
Yeah,
Yes.
very.
maybe I should call the police. And guess what, guys? That's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
Call the police. We'll come. We'll investigate. Give us a description of the car. If you get a tag or somebody driving, we'll come out. We'll investigate. We'll see what's going on, and then see what happens. I mean, you might prevent somebody from losing their property. And what else?
So reference stolen motor vehicles. Also, what they do is they revin them. So they steal, let's say, your wife's car.
Yeah.
They'll go ahead and change the VIN numbers on it. But these vehicles, they have multiple VIN numbers. So if a detective or a police stops you and they know what they're looking for, they'll be able to find the real VIN number
Yeah.
and return that vehicle back to the rightful owner. But these bad guys are putting fake VINs on these cars. They're registering them with the motor vehicles department. So if an officer runs a license plate, the license plate is going to come back to that VIN.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. They're a little intricate there.
Yeah.
So they're making the VIN legit by registering.
Very
it.
sophisticated.
Wow.
and some of them look legit. Some of them are very obvious, but some of them are pretty good.
Can I ask?
We do have investigative tools that we could follow up with that, track them,
Yeah.
trace them,
Yeah.
find every single vehicle that was registered by that registering agent, that employee. And there we start tracking everything down and we build a humongous case. Person goes to jail for a long time, so do not try it.
No, but I mean, this is good to
Don't
know.
do this at home.
It's very interesting. Obviously, we're not telling people how to steal cars, but we want to educate our public on what's going on and how we are trying to prevent and how we're going after these criminals.
Yeah.
As Sergeant Castillo would say, bad guys. Make way for the bad guys.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about these catalytic converters. And I said that good.
Good job.
Catalytic converters. Later on in the podcast, what we like to do is ask the audience that's on Instagram. Eventually, we're going to do it on YouTube when we build our audience here. Hey, this is who we're having on this week. Do you guys have any questions for them? And we poll the audience, and we have some questions for you guys coming up later on in the podcast. So why don't we take a quick
Break.
boom? We finish each other's
Sentences.
Hey, are you guys on TikTok? So are we. Follow us at Miami_PD on TikTok. All right, with that being said, let's get back to the podcast. We left off talking about the key fobs and the new technology, and then the way that so once they steal these cars, the things that they do afterwards, right? So we've got the chop shop, parts overseas. Do they, like my wife, they did like fraud. There it is.
Correct.
They're doing a fraudulent deal where they're making this deal up, and then they take off with the car and then they sell it again. Am I still on track?
We've had a lot of those, not a lot, but we've had a few of those where people purchase a car, do not leave your title inside of the vehicle.
Yes.
Car gets stolen, bad guy has a title, he goes to the DMV, transfer it, maybe he sells it online, puts it up on Craigslist, someone contacts him, sells the vehicle, and now we have a new victim. So, or that person could just register it and say, hey, I purchased this car. I bought it cash, and there's no paper trail.
Yep.
We have a case that we're working where the car was sold and sold and sold and sold, and now we're trying to track the original
seller.
owner
Oh my God.
of the vehicle.
So the way that it used to be is that they would steal a car, go out and commit crimes, and then the rentals started coming in to play, the rental cars, and they would just go rent a car under somebody else's name and just commit crimes. And now they have Turo. Are you guys getting things with Turo where people keep it too long? The Turo app, you know what that is? Like almost like an Airbnb, but for cars?
It happens a bit, but it's not like something major that we're working. As far as rentals go, what we're seeing is these the thieves are renting vehicles to go commit other crimes.
Oh, okay.
So they're using it because they have to switch the tag. Then we have to trace down who rented it, who.
Yeah. So that's
paid
another
cash.
that's another thing that you guys do, right? Investigate that kind of things. And overdue rentals, those become stolen vehicles still, or is that? Because I know if you go overdue, so if you have an agreement with one of these rental car companies and you keep it overdue and you don't return it, well, then that becomes.
So a police report is made, an overdue rental police report is made.
Yeah.
If an officer runs that license plate, it's going to come back as a stolen vehicle, but on the actual notes, it's going to say it's an overdue rental.
Yeah.
They'll stop the vehicle, and if the person that's driving the vehicle is the renter, you'll be arrested.
Yeah.
If not, the vehicle just be returned back to the rental agency.
So get those rentals back. Otherwise.
The full tank of gas.
Yeah.
Don't forget that, because then you'll
Or
be,
you get paid. You have to pay. Yeah. Pay that money. Pay that gas money. Them gas money's high. What about electric cars? That's like Teslas.
I have not had one electric car get stolen yet.
Ooh. Oh, you don't want to open that up?
No, please.
Knock on wood. Sorry.
Knock on wood.
We have enough.
Yeah, but that's interesting that Tesla has created an infrastructure or a car system that is. I don't want to say it's unhackable because I know of Teslas that have been stolen in other parts of the nation where they don't have such great auto crimes units such as ours. Right? You like that? That was good, huh?
Yeah, I like
But I've heard of Teslas being stolen. But you just follow it for a little bit and run out of electricity. Or send
Eventually, right?
But they can shut it off, right? Because so Tesla owners can just shut it off, turn off the car, and you got it all in the app. So those are really hard to steal.
So that's part of
Don't try.
part of the preventive measurements that you said.
I know, but we can't market for Tesla.
No.
But if you're in the market for a new vehicle, try the Teslas. You can't steal them.
That was my salesman pitch. So looking at the notes here. But did you mention something about the key fob or something that happened recently with a key fob and
Well, I
a
wasn't
preventative measure?
I wasn't sure if, going back to what Sergeant Castillo said, I wasn't sure if it was that they were using a device in the car, as he said, or if they were relaying a signal to a key fob back to the car, because I saw that they sell now like these sleeves or little boxes that block signals, but apparently it's not that. It's just they get into the car and the device will just turn on the car. without the key fob.
Do you know if that he was not nodding yes, but do you know if that technology out there where they can steal your key fob
Like
info?
relay the key fob.
Yeah, he's nodding yes. Yeah, so the
It does happen as well.
So that does exist.
Correct,
too.
it does.
So there's a preventative measure. I don't know if you know, but I know I saw it on Shark Tank, and it was for your credit cards that has the chip. There's like a little sleeve that you put it in, and Ralph
Blocks the signal.
just take it when you want to. I'm setting you up.
Blocks the signal. Yeah, no, I mentioned it already. The box. I said the box that blocks the signal, or the sleeve that you can put your key fob in.
Pro tip right there.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean leave your key fob in the car.
No.
Yeah. Or you can put a kill switch on your car.
Or you can put a.
She
That's
was-
the best measure.
A preventative
Really?
measure.
What's that?
For like
I know the what was it?
The club?
The club. I know the club. I know the club.
But yeah, so she will go ahead. I'll let you say.
So the best preventative measure is to put the kill switch, because with the kill switch, what they're doing with these computer devices is they're quickly reprogramming the vehicle so that they can drive it, whether it has key fob or not. The kill switch prevents that from even happening.
Where can one get one of these kill switches? Do you know?
Any place where you install alarms, either with an alarm or without the alarm, they could install a kill switch. So it's pretty much a button, a hidden button, a switch.
So you can't activate it from afar. You have to be in the car and actually hit the switch.
Correct.
When you leave, you hit the kill
So
switch.
it pretty much just kills any communication or gas or fuel to the motor. So the vehicle will not turn on.
So as long as that switch is on, so like you got home, turned off the car, activated the kill switch, no one will be able to take it.
No.
There you go.
They would have to look for the kill. They'll probably
They'd have
think
to
that the
find the-
device, they'll probably think the device is not working at that moment because the car's not turning on.
Gotcha.
So
Preventative tip.
Very-
Do they still have sound advice?
no, doesn't
store?
exist anymore.
I got my car stereo from there, and I know they
Senior
do alarms.
stereo?
But if there was a sound device, if you go in a time machine, go back to the 90s and go to a sound device, you can get a kill switch.
It was the most expensive place back in the days.
My uncle,
rollers?
my uncle worked there, and my uncle worked there, and there were some old speakers that they take out of the cars. They throw them in they would just discard them because they're old speakers. If you get a new system, they have after a while you just have enough of these old speakers that throw them away. So my uncle's like, yo, I got these old 15 kickers. Do you want these subwoofers?
Photo barracks?
I'm
For
about
your
to throw them
hatchback?
out. No, actually,
15s.
Dodge Stratus, baby. That was my first car.
And you have 15s in it?
I had a 1996 white Dodge Stratus V6.
Oof.
Woo! And Fast and Furious was out when I had it, but it wasn't in 1996. But it was in 1996. It was way after that. Fast and Furious was out, and I put the washer lights in there. Killing the game. Made me 2 miles an hour faster.
Did you have the street glow lights, the white lights?
No,
on
I couldn't afford those. I just had the washer lights.
the two little dots on the windshield.
That sprays to
Yeah,
your-
the spray.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I had 412 solo barracks, well, kickers.
Whoa! Talk about a one-upper.
Because of his first job as a manager and
Oh, you were making the big
He
bucks
had
as
money.
an engineer.
Solar barracks, that was top of the line right there for sound.
They're the good ones.
Speaking of auto, you, my friend, you are a fan, auto connoisseur.
Yeah, I love cars.
Yeah, what's your current car right now?
I have a 1969 Camaro.
Woo! And it's mint.
Yeah,
Keep
it
that.
has a new Corvette motor in it.
Nice.
And you had a Corvette.
Yeah,
a new
had a
Corvette.
Correct.
What'd you have before that?
Can't remember. I've had a few cars.
It wasn't that great. It was a Tercel. Sorry, no offense to your dad. So well, we got off topic with the Stratus. Stratus was the baddest, I used to say. Stratus is the baddest. But we were talking about somebody help me out.
switch.
The switch, the kill switch.
Kill switch.
Okay, so kill switches is a preventative measure for these newer aged.
New technology, yeah.
Yeah.
Kill switch back to the whole key fob being reprogrammed or the signal being hacked. Don't leave the key fobs near the door. We've seen on surveillance video the bad guys coming to a front door with the computer, putting it towards the door, trying to wait for the signal. Once they get that signal, they go to the car, they jump in, and they take off.
Also, front door of the house. Like if you hang the keys right.
I have a key hanger in the front door of my house.
Where everybody
A
goes.
lot of
That's
people.
where
Yeah.
mine is.
You come in, kick the shoes off, hang up
Hanger
the
right there.
keys.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, that's good. That's good. This is what we're here. Not talking about Dodge Stratus. Talking about preventative measures.
Yeah.
Common practices. I mean, back to the thefts from motor vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, the lives we all live is hustle bustle.
Yeah.
One place to another as fast as possible. If you have kids, that's even another like.
Yes.
Your
Yeah,
brain
leaving.
kind of gets scrambled. People leave backpacks, purses, presents, gifts, Target bags, whatever, and you're a prime target because it's a crime of opportunity.
That's what I'm saying. It's a crime of opportunity. So they're walking. So essentially, they might not be like, oh, we're gonna get that car, but we're walking by this car, and there's something that I want inside.
And people don't stick out because if you're walking through a regular big parking lot, people think, oh, they're just trying to find their car.
Walking through their car.
They're actually glancing car to car. Oh, there's an open bag. Okay.
If
And
you're coming,
the thefts happen super fast.
if you're coming to Miami as a tourist and you rent a vehicle, please drop off your luggages
Please.
at your hotel room and
Before you
then
go
go out to
eat.
eat. Correct.
Yeah, because in the luggage, they typically have their funds that they bring.
We've had victims lose their passports, money. So
They can get back to wherever they're coming from.
Ooh, pro tip.
Yeah.
Stow those bags away in your hotel room before you go out and about.
yeah.
And again, any large city, you have vehicles, you have pedestrians, people on foot. There's going to be crimes of opportunity that happen no matter where you're at. And we are a tourist attraction here in Miami. City of Miami brings in a lot of tourists. And so if they're listening out there, if you're coming from another area, that is some advice to heed. There was a method that in Alapata, going back to Alapata, there's a lot of, since we're here, it just brought back some recollection. There was a gentleman that kept getting his car stolen. It was one of those easy ones with scissors. I think it was like a Altima, like a Nissan Altima, but one of the older ones. He's had like enough is enough, and he would every night before he would leave, he'd park his car and unconnect his battery.
That's one way to do it.
It's all technique.
Whatever works.
It'll work. It'll work.
It'll
He
work.
disconnected his battery. I mean, it's a little bit of work.
Every morning you got to get up and connect the battery, but you know your car's not going to get stolen.
And guess what? We caught the offenders when I was on FTO with my FTO DeCespedes, who's since retired. Shout out to DeCespedes. We caught them in the car trying to start the car, like looking like, why isn't this working? So it worked. So, boom. And one of the offenders jumped to try to get away, jumped into a bougainvillea. You know what a bougainvillea is? Those ones, the pink ones, the pretty ones
big
with
flowers.
thorns.
With
Yeah.
spikes everywhere.
From the top of a fence in through a thick bush of bougainvillea, and all you hear was like, oh!
Ouch.
Yeah. So it was a lesson learned. I think that was worse than actually getting arrested.
For sure.
Yeah.
Jinx.
So that's one of the that's a pro tip from Nick. Disconnect the battery. I guess.
Hey, whatever works.
You learn
Whatever
when you're patrolling, you learn stuff. You learn how to Slim Jim, you learn how to disconnect the battery, you learn this stuff because you're I don't know, how do I not become a victim? So what else we got?
Another preventive measure would be putting a GPS on your vehicle, a hidden vehicle tracker.
Yeah.
This helps us a lot with motorcycle cases and victims' vehicles. Victims' vehicles get stolen, they call us the next day or that same night, and they're like, hey, my vehicle is tracking at this address. We'll go out there and we'll locate the vehicle, and you'll have your vehicle back soon. If you don't have a tracker, who knows where your vehicle is at?
There's no way to know.
Well, there are ways, but it's just harder.
A lot
So you go to LPRs, you get the toll booth, and there's ways that they investigate. I'm sure they don't want to give out all their, but we can track. We can track. So what about air tags? That's a new thing, right? The only thing about air tags is that if I have an air tag and I put it somewhere, and then somebody else is driving in the car, they'll get notified that they're being tracked. But then they gotta find the air tag. So hide it, not in the muffler, but hide it.
We've had a few cases with the AirTag.
Yeah.
It helps us to the point where the way that the AirTag works is it only notifies you the last time that it was near an iPhone.
So
if the driver that stole the
Or
vehicle,
any Apple device.
or any Apple device.
so if the person driving the vehicle is driving an Android,
Yeah.
we're not gonna get a signal from the AirTag because it's not linking to anything.
Unless they pull up next to an Apple store.
Somewhere that picked it up, or somebody with
And
an
the other
iPhone.
issue is the AirTag. I mean, the technology is getting better, but it's not an exact pinpoint, precise location. It gives us a general.
So if you're concerned about your car being stolen, GPS is the way to go. I'm sure there's plenty if you go to Sound Advice.
Hidden GPS.
Hidden
because They're
GPSs.
disconnecting the navigation on the cars.
All right. So, and now that brings me to another question that I think somebody asked it, but no, actually they asked something about a task force. But do you guys do proactive stuff, or you guys, since there's a caseload that you guys are following up, or are you the ones to go out? Because I know tactical robbery, they also deal with stolen vehicles, and you guys work hand in hand, maybe giving them some information, and then they get somebody like, hey, we got this guy, and then you guys follow up work. together? How does that work as far as going out into the field, or is it a lot of investigative work?
There was a time where we had a proactive unit. We don't have a proactive unit at this particular time. We're a little overwhelmed with just the investigation portion, but thanks for giving the chief on that heads up on my next proposal.
Well, I mean, it's not that we don't have, it's not assigned to the auto theft, because you still have problem solving.
We have a lot of resources. The good thing right now is we have really great communication with other agencies and departments and chats and stuff like that. So we share a lot of information. Everybody's dealing with the same crime trends right now.
Yeah.
So since we information share a lot, we're able to use other people's proactive units.
And that you know, talking about the future now, or where we're at, as opposed to before, you got a lot of technology, a lot of GPS, a lot of cameras. Everywhere there's cameras. In the city, we have tons of cameras, which in a future podcast, we're going to bring on the Real-Time Crime Center to talk about those cameras. But you have a lot more resources to find these cars. So it's not like, you know, the wind's blowing this way, let's go that way. You know, it's more of we can rely on this information that we have and then kind of piece it together. So you don't need to be out there as much. You still need to be out there, but you don't need to be there as much. What do you got, Ralph? I see you leaning in.
No.
You're like, no, just chilling, enjoying the convo.
Yeah.
Thanks. What else? I know you had some more.
So we do work, like she said, with our resources.
Yeah.
If we do get something good that we know that one of our bad guys is at a certain location with a stolen vehicle, we'll notify our undercover units. They'll send out their teams. They'll sit on the vehicle. They'll wait for the bad guys to occupy the car, and they'll take them to jail. They'll make the arrest. They'll bring them into us. We'll interview them, and we'll see what we get. And then they're transported to the jail.
Yeah. So typically, there could be either a crew working that is just wreaking havoc in an area where the spike comes from a crew. I know working when we were in Little Havana PST, and remember we got our days changed, and we got changed to midnights, no weekends off. I need this problem solved. First night out there, 22 occupied, got all the jokers that were doing this stuff. So that was a good night.
Yeah, it's normally one crew that'll be hitting us a lot.
Did I say 22 occupied?
Yeah, you did.
Stolen vehicle occupied. Sorry, I don't want to use police codes because might lose some people. Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, I forgot what I was saying.
You were saying that there's usually one crew that's hitting a lot. So once they get caught, do you notice like a
you see the
downtick?
spike starting to go down.
Yeah.
And then
So
a
then
new
it
crew
tells
where
you-
they'll come back and it'll start going back up.
Okay.
But we already know who now. Now we'll know who these guys are. Keep an eye on them.
Nice.
You can kind of, even though maybe you won't be able to tie specifically those cases to them, but you know that they were involved somehow
Correct.
because now they're off the street and they're not.
Yeah.
Like people that steal catalytic converters,
Yeah.
which brings us to our
The
next
mayor.
topic. The mayor, El Mayor.
Is that the catalytic expert?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Detective Toca?
He actually came out in the news. He did a news article.
He looks like it.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna bring him. Can you mind having a seat over here on the couch, and
Swap.
we could swap because he is the expert, and I know it's a good.
The cat spurt.
It's show and tell time.
It is. He actually brought in
Look at
a. Is that a one of those where they drop in the things in the army? That's a
No.
catalytic converter.
That's
Show
the
and tell.
catalytic converter.
Yeah, bring it. You can hold it up. I'll hold it so it doesn't make a lot of noise. This is a catalytic converter.
That's been cut off.
This is what the big fuss is about.
Oh yeah.
That's it right
There
there.
you go. Detective Toca.
Yes.
What are you
Detective Toca.
tocoing right there? Tocoing right there. That's my Spanish.
What are you toking?
How do you say touch?
I mean, toca.
Exactly.
Got the magic touch.
There you go. You want to just shift your mic a little bit so you don't have to. There you go. Boom.
All right.
There he is. All right, sir. So welcome officially to the microphone because you've been here the whole time.
And your first live audience.
There you go. There you go. And it had a couple chuckles. And you were
Yeah.
like, hey, man, this is interesting.
Very nice.
Well, it's about to get more interesting.
Dun dun dun.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the studio today, we have a catalytic converter.
Got
So
you.
can you explain to the audience at home? First, let's describe it a little bit to people that are listening in audio. What is this here? What is it?
So it sort of looks like an exhaust. It's under the vehicle.
Right.
It's connected to it. It's basically, it takes the hazardous emissions from the vehicle and it turns them into, converts them into gases that are safe for the world. you
Save for the world.
Go green.
Go green. There you go.
So, and it's an important piece. It's mandated. You have to have it on your vehicle. You get fined. It's a ticketable offense not to have one. But,
Right.
of course, with COVID and everything, criminals get creative. And, with shortages of pieces being made, started going after these.
That's what I was going to say. So what are they getting? Do they just want to ruin the world? Or is this thing worth money?
Well, it's worth.
a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, it's church time. So we have a timer in the studio. We're going to go a little bit over it because we want to know about this catalytic converter.
There we go.
I have to pronunciate it, otherwise it comes out weird. Go ahead.
So, inside of it obviously to convert all those gases, there's something called the honeycomb. You can see it.
I see it. It does look like a little, I'll put it up on the screen there, but it looks like a little net in there, right? Like a little screen net.
Like a mesh.
Yeah, like a window net. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so, that contains a lot of different materials that are, there's a shortage of right now in the
Okay,
world
so
with COVID
those
and
are
everything.
like some precious items that are hard to find.
Precious metals.
Precious
And
metals that are hard to find.
That's really what the reason the catalytic converters are so highly sought. They're
Let me ask you: is it specific to one car, or they can be used for any car? Is that why it's so?
well, I mean,
Can you mind if I pass this
are
to
used-
them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like if it's a Dodge catalytic converter, does that have to be used on a Dodge, or can it be used?
No, they can be
Also,
used.
they don't put them on. They don't replace them and put them on different cars. They break down the catalytics, and the mesh comes out once you cut it open.
So just for
And
the mesh.
metals inside are extracted.
So it's what's inside
Correct.
that they want. Okay.
Yeah, the precious metals, palladium, iridium. I'm not a chemist, so if I say it
Well,
wrong,
Is iridium?
right,
Isn't
all right.
that what was in the Back to the Future car? The iridium? It was, right? Are you shaking your head? You don't know. Flux
maybe.
capacitor.
Talking about the flux capacitor.
Yeah, so these metals, they're going for a high price, and that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, it's under there, right? And it looks as though, and we can show it to one of the cameras. It looks as though it's been cut.
Yeah.
So they're not just going and unscrewing. So they're cutting these catalytic converters.
Correct.
Yeah, so what they do is, they're quick, like anything. Crimes of opportunity.
Right.
They go under these vehicles, they look for low-lit locations, they scope it out, places that don't have cameras, and they get under there, and, within 5 minutes, they get under there with a handsaw.
Yeah.
They saw off the pipes.
Hand saw
In and out.
or electric?
Electric handsaws.
Electric. Oh yeah, electric hand saw. I thought one of those like.
That would take a
Sometimes.
long time.
Yeah, I was like, these guys are good. Must have Castrillo arms on there.
They're
So
motivated for the money.
Oh yeah. So what is on the catalytic converter market? What do they go about?
The lower end, they're getting around like $300 to $500, but once you extract those materials and all that, it's up there.
Thousands. We're talking
Yeah.
thousands.
So and what happens to your car when you start it? Is this black smoke that comes out, or what happens?
You're going to turn it on, and it's going to sound like a race car. It's going to sound like a big boom.
Oh. So like a rice burner, as they call them, like the Honda Civics with the
really
big.
obnoxious.
Yeah.
You're gonna know right away.
That loud.
That loud boom.
Exhaust.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You can drive the car without it.
Okay, it's just loud.
It's just really loud.
Yeah.
Which is how most people are like, hey, what's wrong with my car?
Yeah.
And then they find out their catalytic is missing.
I've heard. I'm like, that car, really? Why are they putting that cherry bomb muffler on that car? I've heard like bah, 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 going down, and I was like, that was weird. That was weird. That didn't match the sound. I guess that's what it was.
Could be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So what you just said, and how they do it, you automatically gave some preventative tips, right?
Yeah.
So what do you got? I know you said it, so you just say the opposite of what you said.
Yeah, the deterrent things, it's cameras.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. That's our money maker right there. Bread and butter is good camera systems,
Yeah.
well-lit locations. Offenders are always going to look for what's easy.
Yeah.
It's quick and easy. So, if you have moving lights, car alarms, cameras, things like that, right off the bat, most of the time they're going to avoid it.
Even putting, like, don't hide it, the fact that you have cameras. Those little signs like, hey, this is
yeah.
protected. That's even more of a deterrent, right? And if you hear out in the middle of the night,
It's really loud when they cut
Yeah.
these catalytics off.
Yeah.
So one of the things we've told people is pay attention to what's going on in your area. You hear construction noises and nobody in the neighborhood is doing renovations. Something is not right.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. Something's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And guess what? They probably wouldn't know that or even to think to know that until they hear this and the word being spread out. That, hey, if you hear some construction, there's no construction going on.
That's your car.
That's your car. Take a peek outside. And and then obviously call the police.
And then call the police. Please don't approach anybody.
And we've
on
had a
your
lot of
own.
this, especially in our neighborhoods, neighborhood watches, see something, say something programs. We've gotten a lot of calls like that where, middle of the night, there's someone out there doing construction work.
Yeah.
Up to no good.
Construction work on that car.
Yeah, on your neighbor's car that is not your neighbor.
Yeah. And again, we encourage everyone to notify us. That's what we're here for, to help you out. If you see something that it's a little off, chances are it is. But even if it isn't, at least we get out there to investigate and maybe we could prevent this from happening.
So
Anise?
just one more thing.
Yeah.
Another preventative measure. You have to spend a little bit more money, but there are etching kits that you can put, so you can put an identifying marking on your catalytic. There's also like brackets to secure it to prevent it from being cut off.
Cat guards, things like that. You can get it installed at a mechanic shop, but, a little bit now saves a lot of trouble later.
I mean, if you're concerned about it, these type of things, a little bit above and beyond, helps out. We try to do our best, but there's just some things that we can't be under or by your car all the time.
It's kind of like a teamwork concept. Like you guys have to, the
Help
public
us out.
has to do their preventative stuff and be more aware so that, we can do our jobs.
Nice.
For sure.
Teamwork is dream work.
There we go.
Yeah. With that being said, thank you for joining us, Detective
Appreciate
Toka.
I got you.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you're not already, make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms, which are all right here. We'll link it down below in the description as well. Now let's get back to the show.
How's that couch over there?
Pretty comfortable.
Pretty comfortable.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good. We got to get another mic over there for when we get more guests.
My wife ever kicks me out, I'll come over here.
All right. Well, guess what? Now you guys are in the hot seat. So we polled the audience, like I said earlier, on Instagram, and they sent us in questions. So Anissa has the questions. This is one of the segments that she leads. It's called Random Questions from Instagram that Anissa is going to read. We got to get better stuff.
Audio better.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the first question is, how often do you recover stolen motorcycles? And this is from STFU_I'm_sleeping.
Well,
Wow.
well, that's a very aggressive name that you have. But how often do we recover? Well, let's just talk about the intricacies of when a motorcycle is stolen and because of its form and how much it's a little bit easier to hide these. Yes?
Yes. So motorcycles, if they have tracking devices, hidden GPSs in them, we'll recover the motorcycles a good percentage of them all the time. So the dealers normally put a tracker on them. Bad guys know where to find these trackers. If the victim goes out, spends a couple of $100, adds an extra tracker on it, bad guys find one tracker, they're like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
But they never look for a second one. And we'll end up recovering these motorcycles in backyards, parking lots, parking garages, and we'll be able to recover them. So if you do your preventative measures, we'll be able to recover them. So chances to answer the exact question is, we do recover them at times. If there are no trackers, it's very difficult to locate these motorcycles. Like you said, they're very easy to hide.
Yeah.
Ship them out, dismantle them, sell them for parts.
Or even in the back of a van, like you were saying, how they pick them up.
Pick them up, throw them in a van.
Bikes are tough.
Yeah.
And then even if a bad guy is on a motorcycle and the cops try to stop him,
Yeah,
he's
those are
not gonna
tough.
stop.
Yeah.
Those are tough. Those are tough to get while they're moving or in motion. Well, that was a great question from, we're not going to say your name out loud. It's a very aggressive name.
All right. So next question.
Yeah.
Larga.
Let me help you out. I'm pretty good at pronunciating stuff. This is Larga Espada Matures Restaurant. Is that what that is? Is that what the RES is?
Response.
Close
All
enough.
right. So what are the most commonly stolen items?
Victims leaving their purses, their bags, briefcases, luggages inside of their vehicle. Something that's very obvious. Bad guys walking by a car, they take a peek, they see a purse, it's gone.
It's gone. And firearms, don't leave them inside the vehicle.
Please.
That's pretty much
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Please.
That's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Period.
Don't leave them inside the vehicle.
Chances are it'll get used in a violent crime.
Yeah.
Cops will be knocking on your door saying, hey, where's this gun?
Yeah, and we
Very
have a
true.
very good gun unit now that has cool technology. We're going to bring on, I'm plugging future podcasts.
Bring them on here. In
We
the
work with
future.
them. We work with them. They're great.
They're really good. So we're going to bring them on and talk about some of that tech that they have. But yeah, don't leave firearms inside the vehicles.
All right, cool. Actually, when I used to work at the mall, a lot of travelers would come with like suitcases, and they would buy a lot of stuff and then go to their car and then drop off the stuff in their car
leave it.
and then come back and shop more.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. If you go to a mall, if you go somewhere, don't get out of your
Wynwood.
car, open your trunk, put your purse in your trunk, because someone's watching you.
Yeah, but when you do it,
Take it
when the
with
coast
you.
is clear. Oh, take the purse with you.
Yeah.
Eventually, I guess don't be a victim and kind of just have some situational awareness of what, just kind of peer around.
Absolutely.
And if somebody's looking at you and you turn around and you look at them, watch this. Watch Castrillo's. You see how he wants to turn away right now. They'll usually turn around because they don't want to be seen. Ready? We'll do it again.
Try again.
Boom. He didn't want to be seen, so he turned around. It's just
No eye contact.
no icon. So no, but that is what we were talking
Suspicious.
about. Is well lit. All this stuff, they don't want to be seen because it's better chance for them to get away. So if you're looking and you're like, I see you, not you don't have to verbalize it, but you look at them like, hey, so then you it's safe to put your stuff inside the car.
Pay
Just have some
attention to
situation.
your surroundings. A couple extra seconds can save you hours of headache and heartache. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Park in well-lit areas.
Yes. So one more time.
Park in well-lit areas.
No, I was doing the turn.
Oh,
Boom. There it is. Like clockwork. What do we got?
All right. So from MAP 2525, are you guys a task force or a regular unit within the department or both? LOL.
So
And I answered that.
can we answer?
earlier.
But could we answer what? Maybe somebody doesn't know what is a task force.
task forces when you work in conjunction with other police departments to target the same type of crime or the same crew
Yeah.
of people committing these crimes. So to answer the question is both. So a lot of the times the people we're looking at, they are also investigating.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll build a big case.
All right. See, teamwork is dream work. All right. Thank you guys for listening.
Yes.
We're gonna wrap it up. Anissa, you got anything that you want to add in?
Good.
No more Tercel stories.
No.
Good.
No.
It was really good.
I'll say thank you to both of you. I think it was some really good tips. I learned a few things that I didn't know before this started that I'm gonna go home and do myself. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think there was some good
keys.
stuff on this podcast.
I'm gonna move the keys away from my door.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that one.
They're out there trying to get my Highlander, son.
Yeah.
LT, Detective, Sarge.
Sir, thank
Boom.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you had fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bring you guys back.
For sure.
Absolutely.
All right. With
Got
that
it.
being said,
See you guys next time.